Okay, so today we wanted to go ahead and show you a couple things about the BeAPI framework that we thought you would enjoy. So right now we're looking at the API docs, and this is we're currently logged in as an admin, so you're going ahead and you're seeing an administrative view of the API docs, and as you can see right here, we're able to go ahead and call from a sandbox and generate the JS in the sandbox from any endpoint, which is very, very convenient. But this isn't what we're showing here today. Today we wanted to go ahead and show the endpoint profiler. Now, what a profiler does, let's go ahead and just pick out an instance and a endpoint here real quick. What a profiler does is that it goes ahead and it makes a call from start to finish, basically as if you were calling from the browser all the way back to the browser. And it tests the time it takes from every single class and every single method, how long every single method call takes in every single class until it gets all the way back to your browser. And I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. And this is a simple test call here real quick. And you can see the pre-processing. It shows you the profiler com process in that's being called, and all of these, and how long it takes. 6 to 29 milliseconds, 29 to 35 milliseconds, 35 to 38. And you can see the create cache hash is the biggest process here on the initial call. That's because this is actually creating the cache upon the next call, so that the next call will be far, far quicker. And the total time is approximately 56 milliseconds. And to show you that, the next call that we make, we'll go ahead and do this a second time. Keep that in mind. It's approximately 56 milliseconds. Next call is 12 milliseconds. Wow, that was fast. Is cached result 2 to 12. And each time that we call this, we're not bombarding it, so it's not creating a lot of new threads, but it's just faster and faster and faster. 9 milliseconds, 7 milliseconds. Because we're not having to go through the controllers, we're not having to go through post-processing. 5 milliseconds. It just is faster and faster and faster because it knows what you're doing. And that's the way it's built out. That's the way BeAPI system is built out, to predict how you're calling it. It's a prediction system. It's an automation system. It's a prediction system. It caches everything and it predicts how you're calling it, so that the next time it's called, it goes, I know what you're going to do. I know how you're going to try and call this. I know what you want. And it delivers it to you in a much faster way. The first time, it has to build everything. And then the next time, it doesn't need to build it. It knows your privileges. It knows your roles. It knows everything about you after the first time. And then it can deliver it to you in a much faster, more efficient way. And this is the profiler. This is how it is. It just keeps getting faster and faster, and we can just show 3, 4, 3, 3, 1, 6, 8. This is as it's spawning threads. It can jump around a little. But it will eventually get down to, and there you saw 0. No reporting at all. And that's when it does that, when it says 0 and it doesn't report anything, that is effectively it saying it is as efficient as it can possibly get. Here it's just saying 1 millisecond, and this is the only thing it had to report on. This only took 1 millisecond. Obviously, I am only testing on the local host here, so there is really 0 I/O overhead. You're going to get far more I/O overhead when you test over a distributed network. If you were to do this over a network where you're having to call a server that is on AWS and Azure and from your local network. And there is going to be a time delay. That I/O overhead is going to show a far higher milliseconds for that time delay. But there's nothing you can do about that. You have to pick and choose your battles of how you're going to reduce that I/O overhead there. But as far as this is concerned, we've reduced the I/O overhead for the API application to a minimum. So I hope you enjoy this. You can see where your bottlenecks are within your controllers and reduce them to a minimum. And it's very informative, I think. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and get in touch with us. Hope you enjoyed.